and accept the president's focus on a ceasefire at this point. So they've achieved a lot. For Iran, I think it's kind of the other side. I mean, they are vulnerable. I think the Israeli strikes have demonstrated that they're a bit of a paper tiger. And while they certainly have the ability to cause mischief and create trouble throughout the Middle East, they're definitely weakened. And they're led by an aging 86-year-old supreme leader. There's a lot of unhappiness within Iranian society, and so their domestic situation is somewhat tenuous. And they've been struggling with Israeli attacks on their own, and to add the U.S. to that, I think would be disastrous for the government. So I think they're realizing that their options going forward are not great, and that their interests are best served also by bringing these hostilities to a rapid close.
As we were talking, we were showing images of the before and after photos of those sites that the U.S. attacked in Iran. There is still question about the effectiveness of those U.S. strikes. Trump says the Iranian nuclear program was obliterated, but there's some evidence that the Iranians may have moved about 880 pounds of uranium before the attacks. What do you think is the current state of the Iranian nuclear program?
Well, I think that's something that is unknowable to us. I mean, we will do the after action reports, the battle damage assessments, but the reality is these are underground bunkers, and as much as we believe that we have caused significant damage, we won't know that, and there is no verification mechanism. The IAEA is not on the ground anymore, so we will have to use intelligence and try to try to determine what we can about the extent of the damage.
My next question is about the ceasefire. Do you think it can hold? I mean, I don't imagine the current regime in Iran is suddenly going to transform into a pro-Western secular democracy that accepts Israel's right to existence. Won't the mullahs who run the country see reestablishing Iran's nuclear program and its regional proxies as the best way to maintain their grip on power?
Well, I think that's a big debate that will go on from this strike. Obviously, a military action has a certain degree of finality to it, and the president's trying to bring this operation to a close. But the knowledge of how to build a nuclear weapon will still be there. A government could decide that they want to continue to pursue it because the lesson that they'll take from this is that the United States, the United States will continue to be able to threaten Iran's nuclear program. So they'll need to put it deeper on the ground, be more secretive about it, and move more quickly to ensure that that they can have a defense that will make countries less willing to attack them. So that's one scenario. I mean, it's also possible that other things can happen, that there could be internal changes, that the leadership could decide, well, we've been after this nuclear goal for 20 years, and it hasn't brought us much that's positive. So let's see if we can, integrate better within the region with the Gulf states, integrate more effectively within the world. I mean, the president keeps talking about making Iran great. That Iran could be better integrated into the global economy and without sanctions. So there are two distinct paths that this could take. But that's one of the things we don't know. And when we at least had a diplomatic deal, we knew the time frame. We had inspectors on the ground. We could monitor things. So while the military option that we exercised seems to have had an impact, we won't know for sure what the long-term effect will be, and whether Iran will jump back on the nuclear train.
Yeah, Trump talks about making Iran great again. The question is, with whom in power? You mentioned earlier the Ayatollah is 86 years old, probably at the weakest point of his reign in power. His nuclear program has been attacked. Proxies have been decapitated. Many of his allies in the military have been assassinated. You said it, much of the population wants him gone. It would seem like the time is ripe for a challenge to his power.
Well, I mean, there is a council that, in theory, would elect a new supreme leader. It's hard to. I mean, he's obviously taken steps that he thinks will preserve his hold on power, but I think it's fair to say that he is likely weakened. He's 86, so at some point, nature will take its course, and there will be a new leader. But there are also undercurrents within Iran of unhappiness and groups of people with economic influence, with political influence, who would like to take Iran down a different path. And they are obviously discussing things probably quietly and hoping not to be uncovered. But they've certainly been reaching out as well, I think, to Europeans and others to discuss opposite ways forward. There's always the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the IRGC, which certainly has enormous power in Iran, and you could always end up with a leadership by the Revolutionary Guard, which would not necessarily be a good thing for the United States and for Israel. So at this point, there's just a lot out there that we don't know, and our ability to influence it is quite limited.
Yeah, I think about 20 years ago when there was a power vacuum next door in Iraq after the U.S. ousted Saddam Hussein, chaos ensued. Talk about the danger to the region if a power struggle happens in Iran.
Well, I guess it comes down to, what would the contending parties who are struggling for power, what would they need to demonstrate and assert that power? And, would there be international actions through which they could show that, they are the ones who should be leading Iran into the future? And we don't know, again, if there's the Revolutionary Guard seeking to do that, they would have one way of exercising that power that would certainly probably lead to more tensions within the region. I mean, Iran has in the last couple of years lessened the degree to which it's isolated in the region. It has made outreach to the Sunni Gulf states, and I think there are many that would like to see that continue. But again, if there's conflict, if there is a sectarian edge to things, that could re-inflame the Sunni Shia conflicts that have been driving so much of the tension in the region for so long. So that will definitely be something that the U.S. should keep our eye on, and that our intelligence services certainly will be watching very closely as well in the coming months and years.
Let's talk about this NATO summit that Trump is attending at The Hague. Trump posted a screenshot on social media this morning of a message he got from Mark Rutte, the NATO Secretary General. Aside from the customary bootlicking we frequently see when European officials interact with Trump, Rutte did say that NATO members have agreed to the 5% defense spending levels that Trump has been demanding. Is that significant?
Well, it's absolutely significant. I mean, the initial 2% target was established in 2014 at the Wales summit, and it was a struggle to get most NATO members to 2%. And obviously, President Trump pushed that strongly in his first term with some success. But what really generated additional spending was Russia's invasion, third invasion of Ukraine, when Europe realized that this challenge to sovereignty of Ukraine was not going to go away, and that they needed to step forward and do more to provide for their own defense and for the defense of Ukraine as well. So I mean, 5% is a big target, well above where countries have been. My understanding is that it's 3.5% direct military and another 1.5% of military-related expenses, which can be the rail systems, the road systems to move equipment to a front in the east. So most everybody is on board. I think the Spanish are a little hesitant to invest that much, but there is agreement on this, and I think that does represent a major success for U.S. diplomacy. Europe, I mean, we've all seen with the Ukraine war that we don't have adequate numbers of weapons. Even trying to keep Ukraine in the battle has been a struggle, so all in all, this is a very positive step forward, and a recognition that U.S. engagement with the allies has has led to a strengthening of the NATO alliance.
The war in Ukraine and Russia is kind of the